bro, do not look for fucking balance, bro. That balance is gonna be there after you achieve it. Think about it, bro. The new year starts in April, bro. That's why it's called April Fools, because they tricked everybody. I've been sitting back. I'm like, okay, they're wealthy in this aspect of their life, which is finance. But when it comes to like relationships or whatever, they're not wealthy in that aspect.
And it's crazy that maybe nature is the key to balance or greater balance. When you sit in your mind and think, this is how I want this to be, this is how I want that to be, I want this to be in order, it's never gonna be like that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, like
welcome back to another episode of Intentionds Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning back in to another episode. And this is episode number 33.
33, bro.
33.
Jeez.
That's the age Jesus Christ died.
Yeah, man.
33.
Hey, 33, bro. That's a lot of episodes.
Nah, it is.
But yeah, man, we thank y'all for being here once again. I am one of your hosts, David.
I'm Justin.
And we are the Pure Intentions Podcast, giving y'all the best conversations, the best insights, the best speculation, you know, and Gen Z. So what we getting into today, bro? First of all, bro, it's Sunday, bro. How was your week, bro?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I was just telling my mom, and this kind of gonna correlate into the topic, but my week was great. But bro, like 2025, bro, I've been on a go. You feel me? I just had a conference last week. I just had a pop-up shop yesterday. Week before that, I had to do some shit like with my family land and stuff. Week before that, I'm in Florida. Next week, I'm in Valdosta.
Yeah.
Graduation. So, bro, I've been, you know what I'm saying? But I've been enjoying the process.
No cap, bro. That sounds real eventful.
Yeah, you know I've been hella busy, bro. But
yeah,
I'd rather be busy than doing nothing, though.
Literally, bro.
You know
it's better to have a packed schedule than no schedule.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you got a packed schedule, and we actually gonna get into it today, it helps with, you know, we know balance is a little bit of an illusion, but it helps bring structure. You know what I'm saying? So a packed schedule is something cool. But you know what I'm saying? My week was kind of the same way. Honestly, a lot just went on. I had to do a lot, and a lot got done. That's just what happened. Explored a lot of new ideas for myself and for what I'm interested in, and you know what I'm saying, close some clients. So it's a great week. You know what I'm saying? Great.
And I want to start this episode off with a quote. It's like, you ask God to eat, so don't be complaining when your plate is full. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want to be strong, God gonna give you them challenges to be strong. He gonna give you that food to eat. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you to eat that motherfucker. And
sometimes you think you get in a plate of Jamaican food, but you really get in a plate of Chinese food with a little bit of Mexican on the side. And listen, and it's great that you make that reaction, because sometimes it's not what you really see it to be.
Yeah.
Like, dead ass, bro. Some of my moments that I really, really, really thought were gonna be like moments, bro.
Yeah.
They turn out to just be regular.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not what you think it will be, but it is what you prayed for. And so in those moments, I always have to remind myself, bro, like, we asked for this.
Oh God.
Like, bro, you as a human being, you get to choose what path you go on, for real.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't choosing for themselves, but you do have the ability to choose what path you go on. So if you choose this path with this outcome, it has these challenges. And, you know, sometimes, bro, you cannot predict what those challenges are going to be.
Nah, you can't. But you can just control your reaction to any given situation.
Exactly. Nah, that's a great quote, bro. Excuse me. Got something in my throat.
Nigga beatbox. Feel me?
Yeah, but balance.
Yeah, so the topic of today's episode is, there's no such thing as balance, especially when you're trying to achieve something great. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a misconception that people have in their mind, is that like when they want to go far in life, or they're building something, they trying to be balanced. There's really no such thing as balance, bro. Something has to give. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
it's all about sacrifice.
No cap. Shawty trying to be in school, in the club on the weekends, at brunch on Sunday, at whatever the fuck on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and still try to have a balanced life, trying to make it somewhere.
Yeah.
And that is not going to cut it.
At all.
Like, you have to put away certain stuff so that you can put more time towards certain stuff, and certain actions or certain activities take more of an input, meaning more time and energy than other activities. So you have to sacrifice some stuff most of the time.
Yeah. And that's all it comes down to is sacrifice. There's a quote, not a quote, but Khabib, the UFC fighter, he said this line. He was like, a lot of people talk about discipline, but he was like, sometimes it's more than just discipline. It's about the sacrifice. And it's like discipline is great. It's a great tool to have, but you have to sacrifice in order to be disciplined. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you even have discipline, if you want to increase your discipline, that means more sacrifices have to be taken in the process of doing that. So sacrifice is a main thing, bro. And with that sacrifice, that shit's not gonna lead to no balance, bro. And that's some shit I've been really thinking about, like, the last probably 2-3 weeks, bro. Like, shit for my life, bro. Shit had to give. You know what I'm saying? And the aspects for me personally is really my social life and my sleep, at least for now. And that's what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? Especially for like all the Gen Z people, whatever the fuck, but mostly the ambitious people who really achieving some shit throughout life, is that when you in the process of achieving some shit, bro, do not look for fucking balance, bro. That balance is going to be there after you achieve it. But in the process of achieving some shit, bro, no balance, straight sacrifice. But after you get that result, then you can lean towards that balance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you have to create some shit first. Can't create and be balanced, man.
Yeah, it's a process. Like,
yeah.
It's gonna be some sleepless nights, bro.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be some nights where your bank account negative. You don't got no financial balance.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna be some times where you gotta deal with issues within what you're doing, sacrificing your mental health.
Yeah.
But all of that is temporary though, bro. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I think before, like, I'm willing to give my 20s completely away to my dreams. 20 to 30.
Yeah.
That is when I will sacrifice the most of everything. And so I realized in this space that there were certain acknowledgments or acceptances that I had to make for the environment that I'm cultivating myself in. I can't do a lot of this other activity. I can't be out all the time because I have to spend time in this place. I have to spend time doing this thing. And also with family members. Sometimes you can't see family members as much.
Nah.
And sometimes they don't understand it, but it's like, you know, sometimes you can watch people literally take the opposite path to what you did. They spent the whole time having fun, and then in their last years, they want to try to get it right. Me, in my first years coming out the gate, I'm trying to get it right. Yeah. So that all of my last years, I'm living in that right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's all it comes down to really, is like, how are you spending your time?
It's 10 years, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is how I see it. We live so fucking long.
Yeah.
10 years is nothing compared to how long we live, bro. Wow. I will gladly give up 10 years for whatever y'all want to call it, this materialistic value, this accomplishment value, this ego value, or whatever, to build myself up, to become something, at least in this society, on this world, on this planet. Yeah. And then I'll just settle down a little bit, disperse. You know what I'm saying? Seldomly do people actually have that belief of operating in their 20s and actually, you know, just existing in their 30s and 40s. They usually just keep working anyway. Yeah. So, but I'm willing to try. It's like, what are you willing to sacrifice? Exactly. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to stay away from? And at times, like, why do people fast? It's to sacrifice something. It's to give up something for a greater purpose or a greater desire. Yeah. And if you practice that, which most religious people, well, I wouldn't say most religious people, a lot of religious people do practice things like that. But people, for the health benefits, do that as well. If I am sacrificing the food intake from my body, what result is that going to give me? Exactly. And so it's the same exact concept.
Yeah, and there's no balance with the eating schedule and shit.
There's no balance.
That's just out the window.
Yeah.
It's funny you said the thing about like 10 years isn't anything because, first of all, last night, so like when I was in kindergarten, bro, or whenever the fuck young as hell little nigga, I had like this poster and I've had like this timeline with like pictures of like each year of everything I did. And I looked at the 2005 picture and it was a picture of me and my sister with fucking Santa and shit. And I started thinking like, damn, this shit was 20 years ago. Then I started thinking like, in that same amount of time period, like now I'm gonna be 42 years old. Then I'm like, bro,
damn,
that shit not even really like that old, to be honest. Though.
It's not, bro.
Like we have so much more life to live. But like when you a 20-year-old or you in your 20s, maybe even 30s, it's like 10 years, that shit kind of seems like a lot because you only experienced 20 years of life.
Exactly.
So like you may think that like the world may be ending or some crazy shit like that.
Your current perspective has you looking at it like that.
Yeah, but you gotta step out
exactly.
your own body.
You have to be able, that is a very important skill, ability, tactic, whatever you want to call it, that every human being needs to have. You need to be able to take yourself out of the present moment, out of the current situation, so you can observe it from an objective point of view. That is going to give you more information than being the person with the cultivated perspective within that situation, because your cultivated perspective blinds you.
Yeah, that's a fact. And
very important.
That just reminded me of two things. So it was one, I actually made a video about this a couple months ago, is don't be a prisoner of your present moment. Because, and like this shit, like, bro, this is where life can get so tricky because like people hear about balance, they be like, okay, I need balance. But it's like, okay, you do need balance, but if you're trying to achieve some shit, you really don't need that balance. Yeah. But even like we preach about the present moment, like that shit's great, but at the same time, you can't be a prisoner of your present moment because that shit can make you take actions or make choices that really won't benefit you for the long run. If you just thinking about right fucking now, you're like, man, this fucking cookie good as hell, I'm gonna eat 10 of them bitches, you know what I'm saying? But like, what about further down the line, your ass gonna have diabetes, nigga? You feel me?
Literally, so, bro.
You can't be a prisoner.
And there's so many caveats. You say, okay, this person can't have balance because they're doing this thing or they're trying to pursue this thing. But then you look at, like, for example, a fit person, they can eat bad for a little while, and it won't be like they changed at all. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they changed a little bit internally, but like when you work on certain things at certain times, this is how I look at it, bro. When you want to achieve balance, you have to focus on singular things at singular times. So let's say life has 4 categories. Yeah. You got health, wealth, relationships, and mentality. You have to work on your health not at the same time as the other 3, because then everything is just going to go up tiny. Yeah. If you work on your health, get it to the top, and then you go back and work on your wealth, get it to the top. In some of these things you can work on it at the same time, but almost never can you work on all of them at the same time. Yeah. And so that's where that sacrifice comes in. It's like, which one am I going to work on right now? Yeah. But you can choose. You can work on your body right now so that when you're chasing the bag, you can eat whatever you want to, low key. Yeah. Like stuff like that can happen. But I agree with you. There are so many caveats and stipulations. Yeah. Like the present moment, bro. If you look at the present moment too much, maybe your present moment isn't something that is anywhere favorable to you. And if you're stuck in that present moment, you think that's going to be your future as well. And so separation, and even when you get to separation, this is getting a little bit off topic, but there's so many stipulations because it's like, greetings, business owners. Have you ever wondered how you should show up on the online marketplace or in person for your customers? Well, the number one thing that you need to focus on is branding. How are you appearing to your customers and what type of relation are you communicating with them? And this is exactly what we do at the Views Agency. We handle full service projects as well as if you're just looking to get your branding identity done. So if this is something that you're interested in, be sure to follow me at DLO Brands or send me an email at dlogan@theviewsagency.com and we can get your project started today. They say separation is an illusion, but you have to have separation in all of these mental ideas or these activities that you do.
Yeah.
And that's just another thing. But
and that I forgot who said this, but like some like philosophy nigga back in the day, he was like, you got to stop thinking like a human and start thinking like God, because like when you're a human, you're stuck in this 3-dimensional reality where like you experience time in a linear way, but God doesn't experience time in a linear way. God sees all possibilities, everything simultaneously at the same exact time. So if you develop a mindset and start thinking like God, you won't be stuck in the present moment, and you could just see shit for really what it is. You could take a step outside your own body and see the future for yourself and shit like that, instead of just being captivated in the present moment, being a slave to that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In that instance, when you're in a specific present moment and you don't necessarily want that present moment, if you can acknowledge that, hey, I want to create a better future, rather than thinking that your present moment right now will be your future, it'll lead you to grab certain tools in creating a new future, because you'll learn like the foundation aspects of, okay, how do I create a new future? Based on this present moment that I'm in right now, what do I need to change? Oh, my mentality needs to change. Yeah. And so stuff like that can happen.
Yeah.
But ain't no balance in entrepreneurship.
No.
I have never been balanced since starting this thing. Is there balance in sports?
Nah, bro.
Nah,
cause like, bro, you go like fucking practice or whatever games, bro. Like you missing out on, like, let's say you got a game on Saturday and like your friends hanging out or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to do this shit. You had a tournament all fucking day or some shit. So it's no balance when you really in some shit, achieving some shit. But I like what you said about like you have to do something at one time, and that's actually something I wanted to speak about. Was like, bro, you got to get in rhythm with nature. So like nature operates in seasons, bro. So it's like, I think like 4 seasons or some shit like throughout the year. So like you need to have seasons throughout each year or throughout each decade that you live life. So you can have a season of focusing on spirituality, like 100% focus. That should always be your focus, but 100% focus on spirituality. That could be a season. Then you can shift over to the physical side of life. Get your fucking body right. That's really what I did, to be honest, bro. Then I went over to fucking the physical side. I'm like, okay, I'm in a season of developing my body. Then you can switch over to finances. I'm in a season of doing this. But throughout each season, though, it's not like you just completely abandon what you did in the past.
Yeah.
You just bring those aspects and those skills that you learned to it. You're just not really giving it 100%. You know what I'm saying? You got to operate like God, like like nature.
And the great part about that process, when you start one by one, is that eventually, once you've worked on all 4 to a substantial amount, you will be able to work on them each at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I would say, bro, I work on everything every single day.
Yeah.
But only because I took that approach of first get my mind right, then get my body right, then get my spirit right. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like I took that approach so that now my daily life is geared towards that. Like my habits scream working on these 4 places.
Yeah. I actually was journaling like last week, and it really hit me. I'm like, because I really started like this journey to self-enlightenment in 2022. And I was just like, spirituality, that was really where it was at. And I really was like focused on that bitch for like years. But like I always been in shape and shit. But then like 2024 was kind of when I really like started taking like the physical side. Like I'm really finna get ripped, nigga. Like that was like my main focus. Started running and shit. And then like this year, my focus really been on like finances and shit. I've been just learning how fucking money works, about the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, all types of shit, the money cycle, all types of shit. So, but it all started with the spirituality. And that's also, like I said, like with the spirituality, when I started meditating. I still do meditate every day, like you said.
The things you grasp from one thing, you take with you.
The discipline. So the discipline I gained from spirituality carried over to the physical side. Then the discipline carried over to the financial side. So it shit just keep going, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't do everything at once.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no balance.
Yeah. It's just, at the start though, like,
yeah,
you gotta be able to have focus, bro. And that's what makes today's world a lot harder. It's just that, okay, I gotta work on these things, but how can I even focus on them when I got all of this other stuff that I choose not to sacrifice?
And that's the thing, bro. I actually heard, like, I think Andrew Tate said this. He said it's really not hard to win in today's society because everybody is distracted, bro.
Literally. Bro, it's crazy walking down the street and just knowing for a fact 90% of the people on the street right now are absolute bots and will not go far in life. That's just what it is, bro. You might get secure and get a 100K job. That's the max of it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, bro, you in the world just like everybody else. On the weekends, you go to happy hour. On Sundays, you go to brunch. On Monday, you go back to work. But after work, you doing something else. You know what I'm saying? You in all of these worldly things, and you're distracted.
Yeah.
So if a person that's not distracted, that has their focus on the right activities and is working on those on a perpetual basis, no way you're gonna beat them,
bro. There's
no way. You know what I'm saying? And it's one thing that helps in this is keeping your mind pure. It's very hard for people to do that in today's age with the access of information and visuals with the internet. But if you were to grow up and you stayed away from certain things that led you down certain routes in life that are sometimes detrimental or can sway your focus, you will get to the age of 20 and not even think about going to the club, or not even think about going to do some brainless activity, or not even think about, because you were never exposed to those things. And it's hard to do that in this world. But some families that live off the grid, they can definitely achieve something like this.
Yeah.
But keeping your mind pure, like if somebody's talking about doing something, you know how humans want to do something more if somebody says not to do it?
Yeah.
Bro, if many people are saying not to do something, bro, do not go out and do that shit. like just simple as that, bro. Like, do not go out and do that shit, because it's for a reason that multiple people are saying not to do this thing.
Yeah. That's so funny, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's really how I was growing up. I had to learn shit the hard way through experience. You know what I'm saying? I understand experience is the best teacher, but shit could have been way easier if I would have just listened, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know
that is, because niggas was telling you about shit you doing, or girls you messing with, or whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they be letting you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But we just don't listen, bro. We just don't listen. The experience of something is the greatest teacher.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if humans need to get that experience for themselves to actually understand.
Now that I think about it, bro, if you look at that shit, because like, let's say somebody experienced some shit, they got the wisdom from some event, and they telling this other person like, yo, don't do that shit. But like, since they got experience from this shit, it's kind of like they kind of on a higher level of consciousness than this other person. So they can hear the shit, but they subconscious mind really not fully processing that shit, because they had the level of consciousness, and maybe the experience is the missing factor for them to really understand the concept.
Yeah. So when you hear a working class person, when you think of a working class person getting that advice, they most likely have not cultivated their subconscious environment into something where they know what to receive and what to let go. A person that has attained success will hear that advice, and they will say, oh, so-and-so let me know that this will lead to an adverse outcome. Yeah. An adverse outcome. And so I probably don't want to do that thing. But that's the different levels of consciousness. So if a person has worked on that area of their life, knows what to receive and what to block out, then they'll be able to. But most times if it's a lower class person, which I don't want to say lower class, but y'all know what I mean by lower class.
Consciousness, lower. Yeah, I can see that, bro. It's weird. It really is weird how humans are if you think about it, bro. Like it's like we always have to learn the hard way for some reason.
Which is sometimes it's better. Like,
it is.
Honestly, if you learn the hard way, you have like a solidified perspective towards it. Now it's not just words that you heard. It's visuals, sounds, and experience. Yeah, emotions that you encountered. And so that creates a stronger effect on either making you do something or not making you do something than just words.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But to y'all listening, bro, if y'all have not like experienced some shit, bro, listen to this shit, bro. 'Cause this shit will really help you in your life. Like if you're really trying to achieve some shit, if you an ambitious nigga or woman, like, bro, no balance, bro. Trust me. You gonna go way farther, my nigga. And that also, bro, I've been thinking about some shit like the past month. I've been just looking at like people with wealth, specifically black people, to be honest. And I just been like comparing them. Majority of them, men, are single. And let's say they're in their 30s, 40s, or 50s. They're single. So then I've been sitting back. I'm like, okay, they're wealthy in this aspect of their life, which is finance. But when it comes to like relationships or whatever, they're not wealthy in that aspect. And I know it's because in their 20s or whenever, they dedicated their whole time to achieving this finances that they sacrifice the women. So now that they older, they single. So I've been really sitting back thinking like, damn, like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Don't get me wrong though. There are some people who have, women with them. But I've been really just sitting back thinking like, damn, cause like, bro, I don't really go out. You feel me? I'm every single day, nigga, I'm grinding. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't want to be 30, 40, 50 and single. You feel me? Like I want to have kids and shit by then. I want to have a happy family, a loving wife. You know what I'm saying? So like,
that nigga said he got desires.
You feel me? Like that's like one of my life goals. So shit, I don't know, bro. We gonna see how shit fold out.
Nah, I get what you're saying, but there are things inside of that process that you can hopefully try and do to remedy that. Like, if you have someone that you know what I'm saying, y'all might be childhood friends and y'all done, you know what I'm saying, bumped into each other a couple times, or y'all done, you know what I'm saying, had relations with each other a couple times and they just stick with you by the time you get successful or something, you know what I'm saying? But that is but most of them be single by choice as well. Like a lot of them are paranoid. I wouldn't say a lot of them. I don't know them, but they're paranoid from what women are capable of towards men that do have wealth, or they don't know what's real and what's not. Yeah. So there's a lot of factors to a wealthy man being.
We can get into it, bro. So there's this thing. I heard Carlos Miller say this on the 85 South show. He was like, every man got a heartbreak that changes them forever. You know what I'm saying? So let's say a young man got his heart broken, and he was like, after that moment, he like, you know what? I'm done focusing on women, nigga. I'm focusing on my craft. I'm going up. Yo, we got a big ass announcement. I'm talking about big. Pure Intentionds merch in the building. You see what I'm saying? Pure Intentionds merch in the building. We got Pure Intentionds hat. You know what I'm saying? Summertime coming up. If you want to block out that sun ray, got the hat for you. Yeah. We got a Pure Intentionds flask, which can keep your water very cold. You know what I'm saying? 24/7. And we got a Pure Intentionds mug. If you ever need some coffee, you need some energy, Pure Intentionds mug for you. Yeah. That's that. Make sure y'all hit the link in the description to get the Pure Intentionds hat, to get the Pure Intentionds flask, and to get the Pure Intentionds mug. And we out. So that's where that paranoia could come from. They like, okay, I'm grinding. So they achieved that level they wanted to get to with like finances and wealth, whatnot. But then they really did it because a woman hurt them in the past. So then they still had like this perspective of like, women are evil or some shit. All women cheat. Now that I think about it, that could be a reason why I be seeing a lot of this shit.
No cap. Especially when you see one dude and he looks like a brown paper bag, and then you see one dude where he looked like a big money bag. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It makes you do different stuff. And so
it does.
You might, you know what I'm saying, make this guy have to experience something that makes him cultivate that mindset within himself. Like, oh, bro, these girls don't want me for nothing except my money. You know what I'm saying? So why don't I just pay for sex? Because that's what a lot of them do, bro.
That's crazy.
It's just paying for sex all the time that they want to. And I get what y'all are saying. Like, okay, no dates. It takes the hassle out of it. No talking. Okay, cool. But that's a part of the actual experience of dealing with a woman, if we want to be honest. Yeah. So, if you that's another thing though. Like, being quote unquote wealthy is being exceptional in a certain area, and so that is gonna take sacrifice.
Yeah.
From another area.
And it could be very subjective as well to each person.
You could be fat and be wealthy and have a wife and have great friends. You could be fit and not have a wife and be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some area, and that's what it seemed like to me, bro. Like, sometimes I might be doing really, really, really good in a specific area, but then another area might just take a hit, just for the simple fact that I'm not spending as much time on it. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that in my life in these little few short years that I've been past 18. It's like, nothing is really ever gonna be like, when you sit in your mind and think, this is how I want this to be, this is how I want that to be, I want this to be in order. It's never gonna be like that, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you might say things like, I would like to be wealthy. That's a pretty general and broad statement. So yeah, that can happen. However, if you go into specifics about how it's happening and shit, that's great for belief and manifestation, but seldom does it actually ever transpire like that. Yeah. Just because of all the external factors that you haven't taken into account, and life has taken them into account. Yeah. So something is always going to be a little bit lower. It doesn't have to be to the floor lower, because you can work on that stuff, but something is always going to be lacking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean you a lacker. It don't mean that you not focused. It don't mean that you aren't well-rounded. You could be well-rounded, but it's just some area in your life, if you're pursuing other areas more than that area is just going to take a hit. Unless you got some automations on that area. Shit, if you got some automation, you got somebody to take care of that area for you, then shoot. Yeah. Fine, but you got to be okay with that sacrifice. Yeah. Not having everything that you want.
I think the biggest way to just combat that is just to figure out what season of life that you're in. Yeah. And you could just make the main thing from then. Yeah. And shit, if this is a season of spirituality, this is a season of spirituality.
Like non-negotiables for that season, and then negotiables for that season.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this season, non-negotiables gonna be mental focus. And my negotiables are gonna be physical, social, and spiritual. Yeah. And in the next season, I really like that concept. I'm actually probably gonna try that concept for the rest of this year, and just moving with seasons, because I've been, looking at things like the natural order of things, the spring equinox, things like that are actual natural significations of the cycle of the earth, or cycle of the nature on earth. Yeah. And it makes you think, okay, if they're following this, if this is the natural way as it should be, why shouldn't I follow this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The best way to just be aligned is just to be aligned with nature, bro.
Dead ass.
Like, if you really think about it, well, not even think about it, but the new year starts in April, bro. Like, I think April 1st, I think I read something, they said that's why it's called April Fools, because they tricked everybody. Yeah. But like, the new year starts when trees and everything is blooming again. It doesn't start January 1st when everything is still dead. That's I forgot who made the fucking calendar. Some white man made that shit.
Yeah, bro. And it's crazy looking at all of that stuff, bro. We're not gonna get into a history lesson, but it's crazy looking at all of those stuff, looking at the different calendars that were made, looking at the different maps that were made, and how different they are compared to what people used to use when they were more connected with nature. And so it's really riddling when you see, you know, one calendar have Ak on the name and it's 10 instead of 8.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't even make sense.
Like it genuinely does not make what is it?
Numerical?
Not word sense.
Yeah. It don't make sense, bro. But yeah, bro. So, and I actually heard 19 Keys say that shit probably about 2 years ago on a podcast when he was talking about you have to move with in seasons like the circadian rhythms and shit or whatnot. And at the moment, like I said, my level of consciousness, bro, I heard it. He planted a seed in my mind. I didn't really understand that shit until probably a couple weeks ago. I'm like, damn, because you think about it, bro, it's getting hot again and shit, bro. I'm pretty sure you feel different from how you felt in January and December and February and shit when it was cold, bro. Yeah. Simply because we moved into another season naturally. So that means we have to move into another season as well.
Wow.
With our mental focus, our spiritual focus, our physical focus, everything has to change.
Literally. And I think that would be the best way to achieve some sort of balance is to look at the year as seasons, follow those seasons. What is it? 4 seasons? Mm-hmm. 4 main categories for each season, and then do your non-negotiables and negotiables. And that way, you know, at least in that year, you're working on all 4 key areas. That is a way that you can achieve some sort of balance.
Yeah.
I don't think you should even go after that when you starting off, but like it may be the best. It may be one of the best ways to go.
Yeah, I think so, bro. And honestly, bro, like I said, this shit really just hit me like 2 weeks ago. So I wouldn't say I've been doing it personally, but
it seems very interesting.
It is, bro. And if you, like I said, bro, you naturally feel different because when the sun is out, it's more vitamin D, bro. You're going to have more energy and do this and this and this. So maybe you can fucking physical this time. I don't fucking know, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be an interesting aspect to take into account as you are planning your seasons is, okay, the sun is out here. What is going to benefit most from the sun? The sun gives mostly energy when I'm in there. So what takes energy? Maybe physical. Yeah. So I'm going to focus on physical in the summer so that I can get the most out of this season. In the fall, I got to shed some stuff. So maybe I work on my mental. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the trees. Maybe the trees give me some type of placebo effect that I'm going to be like them and shed my leaves too. Yeah. So I'm going to work on my mental. Shed all of the stuff that I acquired that I don't want to keep on to in that season. And then winter comes. The winter of solidification. The season of solidification where we shedded all of these things. And now in winter, we are staying a little bit in that experience of having our leaves shed, but then we are going to solidify over everything. Yeah. So that we know what we're bringing into this blooming season, which is spring. Yeah. Where I'm going to turn it up a notch. I'm going to say, hey, we working on the finances because guess what? I'm coming out my cocoon.
Oh God.
I'm coming to take this. I'm coming to take over. Yeah. And so that just came off the dome, but that's one way that you could go about it. Yeah. Like taking advantage of the actual benefits of each season.
Damn, nah. I'm happy we're having this conversation right now, bro.
No cap.
Bro, like if you think about it, even in the wintertime, it's daylight savings, bro. So it's dark it's dark a lot during the wintertime. So then if you think about it, the darkness, that's when like you're in the womb. And only in darkness is when things are created, bro. Like humans are created in the darkness. The fucking universe was created in the darkness. So in the darkness, in the wintertime, that's when we can go goddamn really work on our mental health or whatever the fuck, and like kind of isolate, like you said. Then when the sun come out and it's like you
what motherfuckers be doing? Look, they be hibernating in winter.
Not literally.
They be hibernating. You need to hibernate, bro.
Yeah, literally.
You need to hibernate and say, hey, I'm finna go in this dungeon and build some stuff.
Yeah.
And that stuff that I build, I'm gonna be intentional about it, and then I'm gonna solidify it before spring comes so that I can utilize my solidified beliefs, tactics, skills, abilities inside of this new money generating, work needing aspect or season.
Yeah. Bro, nah, that is a fact, bro. And then like, oh man, I know how I'm gonna move on from 2026 for sure. But end the rest of this year. But that shit just makes so much sense though, dude. Cause like I'm just thinking about just nature, bro. Yeah. And you just think about it. Everything that's just like fucked up is because we're not aligned with nature. No cap. When you're aligned with nature, bro, everything just fucking flows, bro.
When you're going against it, bro, like a hermetic law needs to be the law of nature.
Yeah, that's a fact.
If you go against nature, you're gonna have some type of consequence. If you go with nature, you are going and entering into the law of rhythm with nature, and you are going to get into the flow state with nature. Yeah. And when you get into the flow state with nature, which is the original creation, nature, the process, the system, you are going on the best possible guidelines that you as a human has to go off of. You have a visual of these guidelines. You have a audio of these guidelines. You have so many ways to take in these guidelines of what nature is. We go outside and hear the trees, see the trees, feel the trees. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff. So, it's a powerful thing, bro. And it's crazy that maybe nature is the key to balance or greater balance. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think anyone will ever be 100% ever. But you can get higher than the average. Maybe the average is 30%. Maybe you want to be higher than the average, which is 60%. So if you and that's a better outcome than the latter. So
it's a way better outcome. Damn, I ain't gonna lie, this shit feels like a cheat code. And I'm really just thinking about this shit. This shit can really like imply into business as well, bro.
Yeah. No cap.
Even
bro.
Content creation, the type of content that you're pushing throughout the different times of the year. Now that I'm thinking about this shit.
Yeah.
Bro, this shit is crazy, bro.
How you operating, what you writing down, what you consuming. Like, one thing that I've noticed that I really want to change is that I consume the quote unquote right stuff, but I be consuming stuff. Like, the only thing I watch at this point is YouTube, and I just watch too much YouTube. Like, I might watch like 4 or 5 videos a day type thing, and these videos are like 20 minutes, stuff that's teaching you stuff, or stuff that has knowledge about concepts, or a summary of a book or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But I still consume too much. Like, I feel like I still consume too much. And so at certain points within my seasonal plan, I may say, hey, this season we are going to not consume as much, because in this season we want to cultivate self-beliefs, the things that I want to think about, or the things that I want to talk about. And so in this season, it would be better to take out or to sacrifice the presence of other people's opinions or other people's ideas within their content.
Yeah, but that's powerful, bro. And then like even going back to like the winter time and like the seasons, dude, bro, you could look at the wintertime as like the off season, but it's really no such, but like hypothetically speaking, off season. And then when it's sunny and hot, that can be like when you in season. But like, so like really when I say off season, I mean that like you can really just heal from everything you went through the 8 months that it was sunny or whatever the fuck the case may be. You heal, it's a recap, you build, you like, okay, this year, fuck, like I was lacking here, woo. You write shit down, you be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this during this time period. So when the sun comes back out, you knew and improved. Yeah. Then you go back into that hibernation.
Do it all over again. A whole cycle. Just like the seasons. The seasons come back around next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
damn.
that way would be, I think, better than being the same way 24/7.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you can burn out that way either.
Yeah, no cap. No cap. You might get tired of stuff if you're doing it 24/7. And I would say that my life has kind of been like that. It's been like the 24/7 life. I haven't gotten tired of stuff or burnt out from stuff, but it's doing the same stuff. Like, it's doing the same stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I want to try out the seasonal format.
Yeah, me too.
The season challenge.
Yeah.
Stupid ass.
But like, even then, like you said, doing stuff 24/7, it's like you're still going to be doing things 24/7 in each season. It's just going to be different things you're going to be doing.
Yeah, it will be a different group of activities.
Yeah.
And that will provide variety, breaking the pattern that some humans hate to have. You know, when humans say, oh, I hate being in the same place, or I hate doing the same repetitive tasks. Yeah, it'll break the pattern. The seasons. Oh my gosh, bro.
That shit really just hit me as we just started.
Bro, no cap, bro. I ain't never thought about this until you brought it up, bro. So I appreciate you bringing it up, because I'm definitely finna incorporate something like that. And it's gonna be a little bit difficult because I'm used to working on all of this stuff at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go into like, I mean, probably next season. Yeah. Maybe sometime in this season I'll begin, like, you know, shifting and then get on that type of way.
I think my shift already started, like, low-key unconsciously. Like, for me, I feel like I go through seasons from which book I'm reading. Mm-hmm. So, like, I feel like whichever book I'm reading, because I always read, like, when I finish one book, I'm on to the next one. So whichever book I finish, I mean, whichever book that I'm reading kind of like dictates the way my mind is working during the next month or two, or whatever the case may be. So, like, I just started this new book as it started getting fucking hot, basically, or hotter outside. Mm-hmm. So, and my mind has been different from before. So now that I think about it, bro, I'm finna go back home today and journal, and just see what I'm gonna work on. And I'm about to graduate too, so
it's a
lot of different shit.
Look, bro, you in a season of seasons.
Nah,
bro.
this is
yeah. You getting ready, gearing up for that accomplishment, the pinnacle point of a specific journey that you embarked on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So this season might demand some new stuff from you, or some stuff that you didn't expect. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you know, that's why you build yourself up. But speaking of books. Look, man, The Magic of Thinking Big is a book that I would recommend to every single person. David Schwartz is basically talking about belief. The person that thinks that they can and the person that thinks that they cannot are both correct. That is what this book is talking about. And it's going in depth about stories and things like that. But when you are achieving, and that goes along with this conversation that we're having, you need to have a little bit of belief in what you're doing, or a belief in your process. Mm-hmm. If I don't believe that the seasonal schedule of things is going to bring a good outcome, why would it bring a good outcome?
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't believe that after going through a complete year of this seasonal schedule that I will be in a better place, why would I be in a better place? Mm-hmm. And so whatever I do believe in that situation will be the outcome. So I recommend everybody, read that book.
Hey, shout out to books, bro.
I think we should, look, whenever we start in a new book, we should bring it to the pod and show the people.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I really just started this book. I'm on like page 21. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was recommended by a plethora of people, so I was like, bro, I gotta pick it up. And honestly, when I'm reading this first little part, I'm 20 pages in. I done read the prologue and one little chapter, bro. Like, this is profound, bro.
That's how you know a book good, when you're reading the prologue.
No cap, bro. It's like you really, and to your point of your mentality or way of thinking changes based on the book that you're reading, based on the information that you're consuming at the highest density, is going to change how you're thinking and stuff. And this has definitely changed how I'm thinking, because it's, like you can grasp concepts. I know how powerful belief is, or I'm aware of how powerful belief is. But when you read some reinforcing thing, it kind of makes you go higher on that. Yeah. And the influence of it on you is going to exude more than it would have before. Yeah. So yeah, books are powerful.
And like the key word you just said, it was influence, bro. Like, people don't understand that humans are constantly influenced. Whether we're conscious about it or unconscious about it, we're always influenced by everything. Our brain is goddamn perceiving everything at fucking milliseconds, bro.
24/7.
And like just dissecting this shit. And sometimes it enters your conscious mind, or sometimes it goes straight to your subconscious. But bro, like books are a very powerful tool, bro. And another reason, I don't want to get too off topic, but like, for me, I've been doing this thing for like the past year where I read 5 pages a day. So at least 5 pages a day. And what this does for me, it just kind of slows things down. You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes you can watch a YouTube video and it's like you get that kind of dopamine release. But when you're reading a book, bro, it's like, okay, I'm on this page for like 5 minutes. I'm on the next page. I'm on the next page. So it kind of slows things down, slows life down as well for you. Yeah. You're not constantly in that mentality.
And it sounds manageable to do 5 pages a day as well.
Yeah,
it's not intimidating.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, y'all need to read. Y'all need to, you know what I'm saying, focus on the specific areas that you need to eventually attain some sort of balance, and try out that seasonal calendar that we talked about. You got anything?
Shit, join the community. Man. Link in description.
Pure Intentions community, we going crazy.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man, a lot of gems drop. Comment your favorite gem that we did drop, or something that you've been trying. And this has been the Pure Intentions Podcast.
We out.
And we out.
Arr.